You wouldn't believe the chaos unfolding in the boxing world right now. Jake Paul's highly anticipated Netflix fight was supposed to be the event of the year, but suddenly everything's in turmoil. Jervante Davis, the fighter he was scheduled to face, is now facing legal troubles that have thrown the fight into complete uncertainty. Lawsuits, civil suits, and lingering allegations are creating a storm of controversy that no one saw coming. And now fans are left wondering, who, if anyone, will step into the ring with Jake Paul? It all started when the news broke about Jervante Davis's latest legal issues. This isn't just a small hiccup. This is a fighter whose past is riddled with arrests, accusations, and court cases. While the authorities say they handled everything correctly, and Davis has already bonded out, the bigger problem is what's happening behind the scenes. There's a growing discussion around accountability, responsibility, and the long shadow of these legal issues on his career. Analysts like Shannon Sharpe have spoken openly about the impact, emphasizing that calling it just mental issues misses the bigger picture. When someone who is supposed to be a protector becomes the abuser, the loss of trust is massive. People expect fighters to be heroes inside and outside the ring, and when that trust is broken, the damage isn't just professional, it's deeply personal. Shannon Sharpe didn't hold back. He pointed out that the victim involved deserves real support, care, and consultation. Rushing it off as a mental issue ignores the pain inflicted, he said, and demanded accountability that goes beyond simple sympathy. Sharpe also noted that Davis has essentially destroyed his career through these actions. Anytime someone is expected to protect or be a role model and instead causes harm, the fallout is severe. It shakes the very foundation of what fans expect from sports figures, and Davis's reputation took a massive hit in the eyes of the public. Jake Paul's response was swift and unfiltered. On social media, he called out Davis's behavior, describing him in the harshest possible terms. "Jervante Davis is an actual walking human piece of garbage," Jake wrote, highlighting what he called repeated unprofessional behavior, late arrivals, bizarre requests, and a history of legal troubles. Jake made it clear that he refused to give Davis a platform to grow his fan base or earn money off his past actions. His post gained massive traction online, with fans and analysts debating both his words and the sudden withdrawal from the fight. With Davis out of the picture, Jake Paul was suddenly faced with a major challenge: finding a replacement opponent who could match the hype and draw in viewers for Netflix. Rumors started flying immediately. One of the first names mentioned was former UFC champion Francis Enanu. However, Enanu quickly shut down any speculation, stating that a fight with Jake Paul felt disrespectful to his career. He made it clear that he wanted to compete at the highest professional level, not participate in a match that seemed more like entertainment than serious competition. His rejection emphasized the growing divide between combat sports as a serious profession and the spectacle-driven world of YouTube boxing. Rumors didn't stop there. Ryan Garcia's name came up as a possible replacement, but contractual obligations and promotional conflicts made that fight nearly impossible. Garcia fights under Golden Boy Promotions, while Jake Paul's fight was set for Netflix. The differences in broadcast agreements created a legal wall that couldn't easily be crossed. Oscar de la Hoya, Garcia's promoter, explained the situation clearly, stating that contracts are binding and that it simply wasn't feasible for Garcia to step in. Even if Garcia wanted to, the deal was impossible under current agreements. It was a reminder that, in boxing, business rules often dictate who steps into the ring, sometimes even more than skill or willingness. The controversy didn't end with logistics. Analysts and fans began debating whether Jake Paul's reaction was moral, strategic, or purely a PR move. Chael Sonnen questioned whether Jake was overreacting by canceling the fight before any official ruling had been made. He pointed out that Davis hasn't been proven guilty in a court of law, and historically, boxing has seen fighters with legal troubles continue their matches. Sonnen suggested that Jake might be using the lawsuit as an excuse to avoid a dangerous opponent. On the other side, others praised Jake and Netflix for protecting their image and ensuring that a fighter with multiple controversies wasn't featured prominently in such a major event. Then came the new voices vying to step into the spotlight. Raleigh Romero made headlines by volunteering to replace Jervante Davis, claiming he could face Jake Paul within a week. He confidently declared that he would knock Jake out and end the discussion about whether Jake Paul is a legitimate boxer. His bold statements quickly went viral on social media, igniting heated debates among fans about whether the matchup would be fair or even plausible. Romero's willingness to step in immediately showed his desire to stay active and capitalize on the buzz surrounding Jake Paul. but it also raised questions about safety, legitimacy, and whether this fight would truly serve boxing fans. While some saw Romero's challenge as an exciting twist, others focused on the hypocrisy debate surrounding Jake Paul. Boxing insiders like Paulie Malignaggi criticized Jake for acting like he had just discovered Davis's past issues. Paulie pointed out that everyone in the boxing world already knew about Davis's controversial history. Videos and reports had long shown questionable behavior, yet Jake had signed the contract anyway. Critics argue that Jake's sudden moral stance feels like an attempt to control the narrative rather than act out of genuine concern. Fans were left questioning whether Jake was protecting his image rather than taking responsibility for his own decision-making. Even the timeline of Davis's troubles added complexity to the situation. From arrests in 2017 and 2018 to domestic assault allegations in 2020 and 2022, Davis's record is long and troubling. Civil suits kept appearing almost every year, showing a pattern of behavior that has affected both his career and personal relationships. Analysts noted that while the legal system allows for due process, the repeated controversies have undeniable consequences in the court of public opinion. Netflix and Jake Paul faced a difficult choice: continue with a fighter who had a history of allegations or find a new opponent to protect the integrity and perception of the event. Adding fuel to the fire, Raleigh Romero's bold claims about knocking Jake Paul out sparked debates about risk versus reward in boxing. While the financial incentives are tempting, many argued that a loss to Jake Paul wouldn't be career-ending, but could hurt Romero's credibility. Others counted that the opportunity to face a high-profile opponent like Jake Paul could be a career-defining moment if managed correctly. It's a classic scenario in combat sports: the allure of fame and money versus the calculated risks to reputation and skill development. Meanwhile, the fallout in the boxing community continued. Jake's stance sparked conversations about the broader culture of accountability in sports. Some analysts argued that fighters and promoters often ignore personal controversies as long as the revenue is high. Others praised Jake for taking a stand and refusing to work with someone who has ongoing legal issues. The debate touched on ethics, morality, and the blurred line between business decisions and personal responsibility. It became clear that this isn't just a fight about who will step into the ring. It's a fight over public perception, media narrative, and what fans expect from professional athletes. Adding yet another layer to the drama, social media exploded with fan reactions. Some supported Jake Paul, applauding him for protecting his brand and standing up for women in the sport. Others criticized him for hypocrisy and questioned whether his moral positioning was sincere. Comments ranged from anger at Davis to frustration with Jake, creating a swirling storm of opinions that made the situation even more complicated. Every statement, tweet, and post became part of the narrative, shaping public perception and influencing potential replacement fighters. Raleigh Romero's emergence as a potential contender kept fans hooked. His confidence and willingness to accept the fight quickly elevated him in public discourse. Social media users debated if his approach was reckless or brilliant, if he had the skill to back up his words, and whether a quick acceptance could tip the scales in his favor. Meanwhile, Jake Paul remained largely silent on Romero, adding a sense of suspense and anticipation. Fans were left hanging, eager to see if Romero's bold claims would lead to a real fight or fade into another internet rumor. The situation also reignited debates about the integrity of YouTube boxing versus traditional professional boxing. Francis Enanu's refusal underscored the tension between entertainment-driven matches and serious competition. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia's contractual limitations showed how strict professional rules can block even the most exciting matchups. In a world where hype and clicks often drive decisions, these reminders grounded fans in the realities of the sport. Not every fight is possible, and not every story ends the way social media hopes it will. And then there's the moral and ethical lens. Jake Paul has positioned himself as a champion for women in boxing, pushing for equal fighter pay and leveraging his platform to advocate for fairness. Yet the criticism from insiders like Paulie Malignaggi and Chael Sonnen shows that perception can clash with reality. Jake's decision to pull out of the fight, though arguably principled, is now being dissected for motives, timing, and hypocrisy. It's a situation where every choice has consequences, and no one can escape scrutiny. Fans are not just watching the fight, they're watching the narrative unfold in real time, weighing each statement, post, and interview. As the drama continues, one thing is certain: the saga surrounding Jake Paul, Jervante Davis, and potential replacements like Romero or others isn't over. The legal troubles, canceled fights, and rumors have created an environment where every move is magnified. Analysts, fans, and insiders are all weighing in, and the conversation isn't just about boxing anymore. It's about ethics, accountability, and the power of media in shaping public perception. So where does this leave Jake Paul? With Jervante Davis sidelined, Francis Enanu refusing, Ryan Garcia contractually blocked, and Romero stepping up, he faces a tightrope. Any new matchup carries risk, both in the ring and in public opinion. The fight isn't just a physical challenge, it's a battle over narrative control, reputation, and maintaining credibility in a sport that thrives on hype. For fans, every announcement, every social media post, and every press conference becomes part of the story, keeping engagement high and speculation rampant. The final takeaway? Boxing fans, YouTube watchers, and casual observers alike are now in a position where they can't look away. The combination of legal drama, bold challengers, ethical debates, and media scrutiny has transformed what should have been a single fight into a full-blown saga. Who steps into the ring next? How will Jake Paul navigate this mess? Will Netflix and other stakeholders push forward, or will caution win out? Every day brings new developments, and the next chapter could be just as shocking as the last. Stay tuned, because this isn't just about a fight. It's about morality, accountability, and the blurred lines between entertainment and professional sport. And with every rumor, lawsuit, and bold statement, the story only gets more complicated. One thing is clear. The saga of Jake Paul's fight with Jervante Davis and the search for a replacement is far from over.